You can't honestly believe that I'm from the tribe of Judah and once hid out in ancient Egypt, which is in northern Africa. All 12 tribes look the exact opposite of me, but yet the masses are still dancing around in Wonderland. I and those who help me push strong delusions have an agenda, which includes mixing up the tribes. Matthew the 13th chapter tells you how the wicked one sows tares all over the world, which is his offspring. Watchman and Deborah have pulled together some facts that will hopefully get your attention. Don't deceive yourself with foolish lies.
Where are the 12 tribes of Israel today, and who are they? Though many believe that the so-called Jews represent all 12 tribes of Israel, the fact is they don't represent any of the tribes. They are actually Jewish converts to a religion called Judaism. They are not the descendants of Jacob, the father of the Israelites. So if they are not, how can we identify who they are today? Here are some biblical clues that will help you to identify who the 12 tribes are.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 45 and 46. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahuwah thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign, and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever.
The scriptures make it clear that the curses of Deuteronomy 28 would be a sign upon the Israelites. Many people, including our people, knew that something was wrong with us. We just couldn't pinpoint it. Caucasians were teaching that it was the curse of Canaan, Ham's son, that was on us. But we know, according to the scriptures, that prophecy was fulfilled when the Canaanites became hewers of wood and drawers of water for the Israelites. So when we read the curses of Deuteronomy 28, we know that this does not fit the so-called Jews as dwelling in the land of Israel today. Also, the scripture states that once the true Israelites are back in their land, that they would not learn war anymore, and that the whole world would be at peace. Instead, we see wars all over the Middle East, all over the world even.
Micah 4, verse 2 and 3. Many nations shall come and say, Come, let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, and to the house of the Elohim of Jacob, and he will teach us his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem, and he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Isaiah 14, verse 5 through 7. Yahuwah have broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing. The 12 tribes of Israel are all Negro. They fled into Africa because they were Negro. There are many that claim that the 12 tribes of Israel were a mixed race people. This claim is based on two factors. One, the handmaidens of Liban, Bilhah and Zilpah, were they Negroid or Caucasoid? The scripture doesn't mention the genealogy of Bilhah and Zilpah, but we know for certain that their offspring only married with Negroes. We know for a fact that they were not Caucasoid, but Negro. 2. Joseph married an Egyptian, which we know for certain that their offspring were Negro as well. Thus, there were no offspring mixed Caucasoid among the children of Israel. The so-called mixed multitude that left out of Egypt still would have been called Negro in appearance, because the children of Israel were not mixing with Caucasoid. Using Joseph and Moses as an example to claim that the marriage to foreigners was permitted, it is important to note that the law had not yet been established. We know that the law explicitly forbids the marrying of foreigners.
Throughout the Bible, we can see very clear indicators of what is prophesied to happen to the Israelites. Although they've had many captivities in the past, in the last days there is a specific prophecy that would affect only the tribe of Judah.
Isaiah 11, verse 12. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
In Isaiah, the 11th chapter and the 12th verse, it was said that the outcast of Israel would be assembled together, and the dispersed of Judah would be gathered from the four corners of the earth. Outcast meaning put out of the land of Israel, and dispersed meaning sent into slavery. While Israel was outcast from the land, Judah was the only tribe to go into this final captivity, but will be gathered from the four corners of the earth. From here, we can draw a direct correlation to the transatlantic slave trade, and figure out where the tribe of Judah went.
Only one of the 12 tribes was actually shipped into captivity, and that was Judah. And the scripture makes that quite clear. Judah and Israel were separated. And it was Judah that committed abomination against the Most High.
Ezekiel 37, verse 21 and 22. And say unto them, Thus saith Yahuwah, Elohim, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel, and one king shall be king over them all, and they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms any more at all.
And under the leadership of wicked kings, Judah had forsaken the one true Elohim. And the people worshiped idols and practiced the same wickedness as the other nations that surrounded them.
Ezekiel 8, verse 15 through 18. Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn ye yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations than these. And he brought me into the inner court of Yahuwah's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of Yahuwah, between the porch and the altar, were about 25 men, with their backs toward the temple of Yahuwah, and their faces toward the east. And they worshipped the sun toward the east. Then he said unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, They put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury. Mine eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity. And though they cry in my ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them.
The Most High sent Judah into captivity because of the abominations he committed in worshiping the sun, and scattered them throughout the four corners of the earth. And the scripture makes that quite clear.
Job 3 verse 6. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Zechariah 1 verse 21. Then said I, what come these to do? And he spake, saying, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it.
Now throughout the Bible we can see very clear indicators of what is prophesied to happen to the 12 tribes of Israel. Although they've had many captivities in the past, in the last days there was a specific prophecy that would affect only the tribe of Judah. Outcast meaning put out of the land of Israel, and dispersed meaning sent into slavery. Now Israel was outcast from the land, but Judah was the only one that was sent into this final captivity, but will be gathered from the four corners of the earth.
The tribe of Judah are the black Negroes that were shipped in the transatlantic slave trade to North, South, and Central America, Haiti, Cuba, Mexico, Jamaica, Portugal, Spain, West Indies, England, and other places around the world. Even though the indigenous people of some of these areas were black, they were conquered by Europeans, and because of the mixing of the seed between European males and black women, what we see today is essentially the creation of a third race.
When we were children, we were told that we have a motherland, and that motherland was Spain. However, we have discovered later in our lives that, as a matter of fact, we have several motherlands. And one of the greatest motherlands of all is no doubt Africa. We love Africa. And every day we are much more aware of the roots we have in Africa. Also, America is our motherland. Africa, America, and Bolivar used to say that we are a new human race in Latin America, that we are not Europeans, nor Africans, or North Americans, that we are a mixture of all those races, and there is no doubt that Africa resounds with a pulse like 1,000 drums.
Many of the descendants of the Negros shipped into slavery to these places are still there and are still black.
North American Negroes, descendants of Negro slaves. South American Negroes, Colombia Negroes, Argentina Negroes, Brazil Negroes, Uruguay Negroes, descendants of Negro slaves. West Indies Negroes, descendants of Negro slaves. Haitian Negroes, descendants of Negro slaves. Cuban Negroes, descendants of Negro slaves. Mexican Negroes, descendants of Negro slaves. Jamaicans are Negroes, descendants of Negro slaves. Spanish Negroes are descendants of Negro slaves. Portugal Negroes are descendants of Negro slaves. United Kingdom Negroes are descendants of Negro slaves.
Many of the descendants of the Negros shipped into slavery to these places are still there and are still black. However, the images widely shown of Portuguese, Argentinians, Uruguayans, Mexicans, Cubans, Guatemalans, Panamanians, North American Indians, and Puerto Ricans are a mixed race people, and many confuse them with the indigenous by claiming them to be as such and ignoring those of dark skin. The indigenous seed has been whited out and replaced with a lighter skin, mixed seed of a European father and a black mother.
I'm not an Israelite.
See, now that guy definitely ain't no Israelite. He can't even pronounce the word right.
Who were the original inhabitants of South and Central America? Everyone would like to stake their claim, but the fact is that there was a population of people there prior to European invasions. The original inhabitants left many clues of who they were right on the walls of caves, monuments built, and other structures. There were even pyramids and what they call large Olmec heads of what the original inhabitants looked like. The Olmec heads are irrefutable proof that the people of the region had the features of so-called black people. With large lips, wide noses, and other features, it would be hard to deny the evidence of our own eyes as to who these people were. One could only draw a conclusion that the original inhabitants sailed here from the African continent.
There is a lot of confusion concerning who the 12 tribes of Israel are today. And this confusion is based on the so-called 12 tribes chart that's circulating among the Israelite communities. The chart is as follows: Judah, the Negros, African Americans; Benjamin, the West Indies; Levi, the Haitians; Simeon, the Dominicans; Zebulun, from Guatemala to Panama; Ephraim, the Puerto Ricans; Manasseh, the Cubans; Gad, North American Indians; Reuben, Seminole Indians; Naphtali, Argentina and Chile; Asher is Colombia to Uruguay; and Issachar are the Mexicans.